In the heart of the Sahara, there is a wound that never healed, a green artery cutting through endless sand. We call it the Nile, but it is more than a river. It is the scar of a paradise lost. 10,000 years ago, North Africa was not desert. It was a living ocean of grass, lakes shimmering under open skies. Nomadic tribes wandered freely across a generous world. Then the rains stopped, and the earth turned against them. The savanna withered, wind replaced water. A wall of sand devoured the horizon, forcing humanity into a narrow corridor of survival. The Nile was not chosen, it was the last refuge. What began as desperation became concentration. Villages pressed together along a volatile river. Fear of drought forged cooperation, and cooperation birthed something new, the state. Egypt was divided into two worlds, Upper Egypt in the rocky south, Lower Egypt in the marshy north. For centuries they existed side by side until ambition demanded unity. Southern cities rose, Thinis, Nakada, Hierakonpolis. Trade with distant Mesopotamia enriched them. Rival chiefs became warrior kings, and from their shadow emerged a new kind of ruler. His name was Narmer, not just a conqueror, but an architect of permanence. Through blood and strategy he unified the two lands. Egypt was no longer a cluster of tribes, it was a nation. At Memphis, the new capital, the cage was sealed. Grain, labor, and loyalty flowed toward a single throne. The pharaoh was no longer a man, he became Horus in flesh, the bridge between heaven and earth. To rule millions required more than armies, it required belief. Ma'at was declared the cosmic order, truth, justice, balance. To obey the pharaoh was to keep the universe from collapsing. Scribes measured the Nile's pulse. Taxes rose and fell with the floodwaters. Granaries swelled, feeding the hungry in years of famine. Power was now mathematical, divine, inevitable. Then came the Stone Revolution. Under Djoser, Imhotep stacked eternity toward the sky. The step pyramid rose like a staircase to the gods. Human hands declared war on time itself. At Giza, the ambition reached its peak. The Great Pyramid was not chaos, it was coordination. A nation functioning like a single organism. The pharaoh as eternal CEO of cosmic order. But power contains decay within its core. Temples grew rich, governors grew bold, and when the Nile failed during the 4.2 kiloyear event, faith failed with it. Famine shattered divine illusion, civil war replaced unity. The old kingdom collapsed into silence. Egypt learned that even gods can starve. From Thebes rose Mentuhotep II. Egypt was reunited, but transformed. The pharaoh was no longer untouchable. He became the shepherd king, protector of mortal lives. Hope expanded beyond royalty. Common people dreamed of immortality. Fortresses guarded Nubian gold. The state built reservoirs to tame memory of drought. Yet prosperity opened the gates. Migrants from the Levant settled in the delta, and one day the Hyksos seized the throne. For the first time, Egypt was conquered. Chariots thundered across Egyptian soil. Composite bows pierced old certainties. The desert was no shield. Egypt had to evolve or vanish. Ahmose I expelled the invaders,
The new kingdom was born in fire. Now the pharaoh was not only shepherd, he was general. Empire expanded under Tutmosis III. Gold flooded temples under Hatshepsut. Egypt became a Mediterranean superpower, but openness brought dangerous ideas. Akhenaten shattered tradition. One God, one sun, one truth. The revolution cracked the empire's foundations, and after his death, the old gods returned. Ramesses clashed with the Hittites at Kadesh. Thousands of chariots collided in thunder and dust. The battle ended not in victory, but treaty, the first peace carved into history. Then came the Bronze Age collapse, droughts, migration, chaos. Ramesses III fought the Sea Peoples in desperate defense. Egypt survived, but barely. Priests grew stronger than kings. Foreign powers circled like vultures. Assyrians sacked Thebes. Persians reduced Egypt to a province. Alexander arrived as liberator. The Ptolemies ruled from Alexandria. Greek and Egyptian worlds intertwined uneasily. Cleopatra made her final gamble with Rome and lost. When Rome claimed the Nile, the age of pharaohs ended. The old temples fell silent. Hieroglyphics faded into mystery. The river remained, but the sovereign dream dissolved. Egypt was born from climate exile. It mastered stone, belief, and bureaucracy. It became a superpower in a cage of sand. And in the end, the world it attracted consumed it. The green scar still cuts through the desert, a reminder that civilizations are negotiations with nature. The Nile gave life, demanded unity, and witnessed collapse. And like the river itself, history flows, relentless, cyclical, eternal.